minutes.
David, thank you. Can your employer tell you not to talk to your coworker while you are not on the job?
It's a question that's being raised in the case of a TDOT worker injured on the job. Calvin Sneed looks into what could be a complex matter about the rights of companies and their employees' legal rights. Calvin.
Latricia Josh, this issue came up after an accident involving a TDOT worker who wrecked an agency vehicle while on the job. Well, we found out what might sound like an unreasonable request could be reasonable under certain circumstances. Back on January 6th, Tennessee Department of Transportation employee Jeffrey White was injured when troopers say his TDOT truck crossed the center line on Lee Highway and hit two cars. TDOT says he is recovering and has not been back to work since. A month and a half later, his supervisors received this email from headquarters in Nashville.
Basically explaining to them that any communication at that point needed to go through the employee's attorney.
NewsChannel 9 received a copy of the email from an anonymous source, questioning why TDOT higher-ups were trying to keep his coworkers away from him. We took that question to attorney Donna Michael, who specializes in employment law. In general, can employers ask that of employees off the clock?
That is unusual in that I haven't seen it before. The fact that it's unusual does not necessarily translate to it being unlawful.
Michael says employers cannot really ask their employees not to talk to each other. But in some matters, companies do have latitude in limiting employee contact. One instance where that might be allowed is in what may become a legal situation.
But in general, if the employer can show that they have a legitimate business interest in prohibiting communication, that might carry the day in a lawsuit.
She says the issue of communication between employees and company control falls into a gray area of First Amendment rights. Her advice? It's best to follow the company's directive.
Because there's no guarantee that if they don't follow it and they get terminated, that they're going to have legal protection.
Coming up at 6, we'll hear more from TDOT about who the no-contact email was directed at, more about why it was issued, and if the agency plans to change its policy. Latricia?
Thanks, Calvin. We tried to talk to White several times about the accident, but were not able to reach